Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey. I play Will on LARP's The Series, and you're listening to the LARPBook podcast.
So let's do this thing. Welcome to the LARPBook podcast. This is episode 52, 6th of April, 2017. I'm your host, Stuart Edwards, and with us tonight, of course, is Thomas of the Busby. Wrong side. Thomas of the Busby. Look at that beard, man. You're almost getting towards Santa level.
Well, that's the look I'm going for.
Well, you know.
Actually, I'm growing it for my dwarf character in August.
Oh,
I hate the fake beards.
Yeah, I understand. I do the exact same thing. Then, of course, we have Luke the Pitimus Maximus, who has got his usual goatee going on, because the last time he grew it really long, someone said that he looked like a... Well, let's not go there. So, how are you, Luke? How's things?
Well, I'm here.
Let's see if that lasts.
And I have replaced... I just want you to know, this is how dedicated I am. I have replaced everything about my computer. And no one's using anything in the house, so I'm hoping I'm going to survive the whole thing.
To you, brother. Right, and of course then, down at the bottom there, we've got the usual long-haired one, the Robert of the Davis clan. Timothy!
Oh, look at him.
It's like a shampoo advert.
Look, Luke, just consider this, mate. Think how long it takes him in the morning to actually get ready with that hair. You or I, you know, with either short or none, we're up, we stare at the mirror, we're done.
It cracks, done.
It's done. Exactly. And
go to Amazon, order a new mirror, off you go.
Yeah, exactly. And tonight we've got Dennis with us from Larpforge. Yay! There he is at the bottom with you. How you doing, Dennis? How's things, my man?
Fine. How are you?
Oh, we're all great, you know, because that's how we roll. It doesn't matter how bad our day is. This brightens it up.
Well, after last episode, I saw Kevin sort of shaking his head because of the computer thing there.
Well,
so I won't say it's all happiness, even that you guys laughed at your hell out of it.
well, yeah, because that's how we pretty much all are, right? When life gives you lemons, we just laugh at it. It's as simple as that.
No. When Luke's gets lemons, you laugh at Luke. That's what's happening.
When Luke gets lemons, he starts getting gin. That's what he gets.
Good call. I like it. I like it a lot. Right then, so in tonight's show, Larpforge just can't get enough of us, it would seem. Right. LARP, a fun way to exercise. Creating your first character. And we've got a whole bunch of LARP events that are coming up in May. So please stay tuned for that. And I'll do my best, and maybe the others can help me read them, because there's a number of them, just to let you know. So let's start off with Dennis. Hi.
Hi.
So you're the other one that's involved with Larpforge.
Well, we are a bit more people, but I'm the other host, the co-host of Larpforge.
I understand that. Right, okay, so I'll just let you know, there's some people, Luke, are taking bets at the moment on how long that you actually last. Some have said 5, some have said 15 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we should start a counter or something, so start a book going.
Navarra, how do you want me to show you love? That's got to be a question. You've asked me showing love, but how do you want me to do that? I'm more than happy. Whilst I have actually some connection to do that, I'm just not convinced you want to know exactly how.
Luke, for every minute you are on, you will donate 1 cent to charity.
Yes.
Right, actually, I have to say, it was actually Africa that held an event for me. We're trying to get proper broadband over to it. The Nigerians keep on sending me emails about money and everything. I'm going for it. That's it, you know.
Oh, you got help for the Nigerian prince then.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all happening.
Exactly. But by the way, like, do you actually know who Nova Norris is?
No,
It's
it's just.
What? You should do.
it's Pete Lindsay, mate.
Oh, love it. Oh, Pete. Now, Pete, I can show you love in so many different ways. You remember last August?
Everybody remembers last August.
Martin thinks Duke's going to be here for 30.5 minutes.
Wow.
That's very precise.
You know what? If we had a sweepstake, we could all make a lot of money here now.
Because you could just kill it at a certain point.
And all of a sudden, I'll just stay there and go. And that would be it.
So as you can see, Dennis, we have a script, but we ignore it.
Yeah. I'm used to that.
Because where's the comedy in following a script? No.
Yeah.
So right, let's get back then to our guest. What sort of things do you actually do within Larpforge then?
Well, I started in Larpforge because Martin asked me to tell a bit about food equipment and camp equipment, because I do Viking reenactment also by the side.
Okay.
And when we made our lab together, I was the primary force. I was the one who was going out to buy in food stuff and make sure we have small grills and things to cook on and cook with. And that's why he thought it could be interesting to hear me out what I actually think.
Yeah.
Or thought about the subject. And well, usually in Larpforge style, we talked about it in a few times, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna do this together one day." And one day, I just took my camera, went out in the garden, and filmed the first episode of what is we call it Cookforge, because and the timing was great because Martin has just that year made his April Fool's joke about he was quitting Larpforge to make Cookforge. And the first episode, right after that was a real Cookforge episode. With co-host here popping out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then we talked about how we could streamline this and get me more into this. And in 2014, I think it was, we had all the episodes where we talked about doctors, wizards, post-apocalypse, made the nuclear break hammer.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Am I standing still on the camera? Is it me?
Yes, but we can hear you fine, so that's all that matters.
Okay.
Your audio is perfect, so
thank you.
So it's prioritizing your audio over your video.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's cool.
But that was the primary reason why I got into Larpforge.
Yeah.
And we tried to expand upon the concept, because me and Martin have talked a lot about a lot of different things, and in the group of friends we always discuss how could you do this, how could you do that, how could you involve a character, what's the thing you need to be aware of when you play this character or this character.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. I can understand that, but I will.
That's my primary role still to this day. When Martin needs someone to talk to, that's what he does. So
basically, you're his one and only friend. That's what you're saying.
It's almost like that.
Yeah. Okay. But I must be honest. I don't know what the chat rooms think of this, but I think I'd really like to see a Viking style cooking show. I'm up for that.
Do you have to wear a horned helmet or anything like that? You know, kind of as you're doing it, or anything else? Is there anything kind of any kind of way of making it and spicing it up a little bit?
Well, the thing I did with this, we actually made 3 episodes, but only 2 of them ever went out.
Okay.
The first episode was primarily about what you need in cookware. And I showed some portable grills, and I also showed the usual campfire stuff. with kilns and something to roast your bacon over. And the time after that, I tried to show something which here in Denmark is a bit of a taboo. In Denmark, for some reason, we really don't like canned food. But when you're going to a Larp and you don't have a fridge or a refrigerator, you have to do something. And if you ask me, the easiest way is just to go out, buy some canned food, and make it on the spot, because it will take you around 10 minutes. Then 10 minutes to eat there, and about 10 minutes to do the dishes. Half an hour, and then you're done. Go out and have fun again. And the last episode, I made pulled pork over fire down at Conquest.
Okay.
And the reason I really went all out and made a huge salad buffet, and it was sort of the Danish version of Gordon Ramsay, because we cursed a lot and we did all kinds of crazy things there. But the problem was that what we filmed down there, it was getting darker and darker and darker, and the camera we had down there wasn't that good, and we didn't have a separate light source down there. So, well, the food tasted good, and we just didn't come around to make a new episode about it, because then, lots of different things started then, and lots of different ideas how to do all this.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying, it's 10 minutes to prep, 10 minutes to eat, 10 minutes to clean up. If you eat directly from the can, you can get rid of the washing up phase altogether.
Yeah, and then you can use it to cook in. It's really nice. We also found something we hadn't seen before. You could get a tuna salad on can. So it was just open the freaking can, start eating it, and go away.
Yeah.
You can.
And I also showed a bit about the eggs, using eggs and some bacon, because these things, because the way they are preserved, smoked bacon and eggs, you can have some freshness of fresh food down there. Normally, the most when people ask me what do I do about food, go down, buy yourself a lump of bread, a lump of cheese, and a sausage of something. Usually here in Denmark, we eat a lot of salami. And say, take that out and put it in a bag together with your bottle of meat, wine, whatever you think you are going to drink this day, and go out and have fun and sit down and enjoy, because you have this traveler experience when you do this simple food. But when you go to an event that lasts more than one day, a weekend or even more, I think it's important to get good food.
Well, it's important to get a little bit of variety as well. I mean, just eating bread, cheese, and salami. All right, I could happily do that. I'll be honest with you. Well, maybe not the salami anymore because I'm vegetarian. But apart from that, I'm a simple guy. I don't need much.
I usually, when we have small labs, I always have a little cooking pan with me when we have a weekend lab. And the little cooking pan there is accompanied by a can of beans and some bacon and some salt and pepper. And it gives you a good excuse to put on your Bud Spencer face when people come, oh, hello, can't you help me?
That's really important, actually, yeah.
Give them the idea that if they don't go and leave you alone now, you're going to get the pan in your face.
I like that.
So I used to play the paladin and the city guard captain later on there, and it was always when I was eating, people tried to disturb. And that's just life. Yes.
That's just not on. That's just we would say that's just not British.
No.
It's just not cricket. Tom, you had a question?
Oh no, I was just, not a question. Just makes a statement about. I just feel that when people go LARPing, for food-wise, they don't really need anything too fancy. It's something to get you full. Nice and easy, nice and quick. That's why for most of the LARPs that I go to, they have a nice big pot of stew or bolognese. And you just get yourself and just go, I'll get it all over you. And then get straight back out to LARPing, just back into it. I feel that's like it's nice and simple and basic, but it fills you up and it gives what you need.
I am amazed. I'm amazed actually. A lot of the times you'll see people, especially if it's a self catering LARP or what have you, where they don't really think about the food aspect of it. They'll just buy like a ton of pot noodles. I don't even know what pot noodles are, Dennis, but
I know we have
you got them
well,
right.
Yeah,
but there's no nutritional content in that. You may as well eat the plastic tub it comes in.
I'm sure some do.
You do need real food inside you for that energy. For that fuel.
we also found out after the years down at the Conquest, and normally we started just buying the food on the market because it was almost as cheap as bringing everything down there, and because we really didn't feel we had the time to go and cook food. We just wanted to eat and get away with it, and do what we want. But for the last few years, we have our own cooking mother.
Right.
And she makes food for us, and it's really, really, really good. And you can see when you get proper food, for the first, the people who get proper food, they tend to be a lot happier. And they tend to be better to ignore, the bits and bobs when you're going on a long lap. It's hot as hell, maybe, and everything, the things there. Food is really important, and it's really ignored by a lot of people for some reason. As well as getting water, sufficient amount of water before a big battle and under a battle. Keep yourself cooled down so you don't get a heat stroke.
That is very neglected, and mead does not count as water. All right, or beer or lager, right, or red wine or anything like that. You actually need water,
or both together. It's called chaos mead.
No, you still need water. You just have a nice, robust water bottle and stick it in your kit somewhere. And away you go.
There you go.
Then get some mead and some wine.
There we go. Klaus. Klaus says, Klaus says, like the Danish dwarf I am, I'm always eating. Good lad. Excellent. That's the way. And there you go, Tom. Now you have something to aspire to for your dwarf character. You must now be constantly eating at that LARP. All right?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I have something for your dwarf, Tom. Remember, as a fellow dwarf, when you are keeping your gold safe or your coin safe, fill your pouch with dirt, because the safest place is to keep your gold in dirt. So when you go to the inn to pay for whatever, you take this lump of dirt out of your pouch with your coins in, just smash it down on the table, give the innkeeper his coins. And when he tries to wipe off the dirt, you would just look mean at him, my dirt, and just swipe it down the pouch. Look at him as evil as you can, and then go away. The dwarves we had in our LARP did always do that. That was the main thing.
I like it.
Strangest. And you could always see when the dwarf had been shopping, because there was just a small dirt spots around tables.
That's amazing.
I like it.
That's amazing.
Tom, you know what you've got to do now, Kath? That's outstanding.
Yeah. I Sean from Twitch says, who drinks water?
Yeah. Why would you want to do that?
Exactly. Apart from melting in the sun. Of course, I mean, we're in the UK, so we got no problem with that, because we generally don't see, and if we do see the sun, we tend to go, "What's that?" And
we panic.
Yeah.
One of the things also I think people tend to forget is, before the stream started, we talked a bit about armor.
Yeah.
And people tend to forget you're not used to wearing an armor for a whole week. You're not used to go into a battle running around a heavy armor for a 4-hour, maybe a 6-hour battle, because that actually happens at Conquest a lot. And if you don't get water and don't get cooled down and don't just realize, you know what, most larpers are fat, or even have a are not that sporty as they like to pretend they are. So when you walk around and see all these great armies, you can see the guys I'm dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you
true.
could get some water.
Yeah.
I just can't believe you've called Tom fat.
Well,
I didn't call Tom.
camera takes off it.
Camera takes off a few pounds, about 100 pounds with you, mate. You're like a stick figure.
You're a skeleton boy.
Well, you got to keep in mind, I actually do exercises as well.
Yeah, it was not. I know it sounds a bit like a generalization, but of course there are people who exercise and there are people which are quite fit. But when you have these great armies for example, at Conquest, because that's the biggest event I went to, you'll see a lot of the people are primary people which are not in their best condition to do this. And they forget it. You need to realize about yourself. Of course, you should be out there and having fun.
Yeah.
Just remember, drink some water, make sure you're cool down, and take a break.
Yeah, because there is
it's not worth it.
No, there's nothing worse. I know we've been to Larps where we've seen people just collapse because they haven't taken care of themselves. Yeah. They haven't had decent food. They haven't drunk water. They haven't taken a break. They've just been must kill everything, you know. And
it seems to be a problem almost everywhere because at Conquest, I think it's about 80% of all injuries are water related and heat related.
That's true. And a number of labs I've seen as well, Dennis. It's most injuries. They're not lab related. They're just heat exhaustion or tiredness or having enough.
And even if you are in good shape and you train and so, it still counts because you're not used to go out and wear your freaking armor that much.
That's it. Unless you walk down the street with your heavy armor, you know, like once a week, you're not going to be used to it. And a lot of the time, a lot of people go to a LARP, maybe, you know, like a really big LARP once a year because it's like a holiday. They save up and they go. And that is literally the only exercise they get for the entire year or something like that. And it's just too much. And they just...
Hello.
Well, yeah.
Say them that Stuart and I have fought before, usually with each other. And it's the only fight where we actually program in a fag break halfway through.
Yeah, and you know, and I said,
it's the only way we can do it.
And I said,
another off.
And I said before, Luke doesn't even smoke, and he factors in a cigarette break. You know what I mean? It's,
I hold it for him. That's his cigarette, by the way. Before we get anyone into it.
You Broken Street.
We're very close.
We're going to get emails.
Our friends who made LARP also took part in Viking reenactment combat. We were training in my garden one day, and then we started running out for about a kilometer just to try to run with the heavy equipment and come back. And those who were best in shape, they came back without anything. I am an asthmatic and I'm a bit fat and everything, so I came sort of like in the middle. But the last guys, it was the heavy smokers, and they came almost crawling like Wile E. Coyote from the cartoon, and they just dragged their bodies over to get this last cigarette. And I think you can't breathe, and you want a cigarette?
Yeah.
That's how it works for some reason.
I mean, I don't understand these people.
I don't know. Smoking is not our thing.
Yeah. They just missed you. We're hiring you to smoke monster next.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? And with this thing, I can easily do it as well. I'll show you now. This thing's bonkers. I'll turn the volume down because it's, you know.
It's like a freaking... It is literally a smoke machine. It's nuts.
Yes.
It's blowing nuts.
Honestly.
It's gone.
That might be a good way for a spell to disappear. You know, like a disappearance spell. Just wait.
Or I can play a rogue, you know.
Vanish.
I found you can't be very stealth-like wearing full plate.
No, you have found that.
You can also be sort of a genie, so every time you pop out of your lamp.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. No.
It's like one of those things I've always found in LARP, where if we need to scout someplace out, the guys in heavy armor and stuff, they're normally the ones in the front, you know, the frontline fighters and back. But when you want to scout something out, and you go, okay, Rogue, go ahead. No, you're the fighter, go in front. I jingle like it's Christmas.
Yeah.
We need to go, and they're just so terrified.
We need
actually scouting out, and you know their job.
You have to remind them of that, Thomas. This is your job, by the way.
Yeah, we need a guy with stealth. Just saying.
Yeah,
that's right.
I however, am not. Yeah. You know, it's ridiculous.
Oh, you want me to go over there now? Listen here, dumb shit. I ain't going over there. You don't pay me enough.
That's right.
Well, actually, they're making a fair point, because at the last LARP I was at, actually the last one Tom was at, we had 2 characters who decided to be a bit more discreet and get rid of their armor. And then they went down the stairs into a dark, nasty little cellar.
But
did they walk out again?
Probably
no.
Well, they weren't the same when they did anyway. But the part I don't get about that is, Rob, is that they got rid of their armor, but all the danger in that house left. So it was pointless. They could have just worn the armor because everyone just left.
They could have danced about, probably.
Yeah. So it was kind of pointless. But it was more fun for the monsters that way.
Hey, players for you, mate. I mean, you know. What can I say?
I mean, I can't talk much. I was being led away, so in chains. So.
That wasn't the LARP event, Tom.
No, that was last Friday.
You know how you said you walk at least once a week in your art?
Now we know it all.
Because Newport City Council have written to me asking you to stop.
Now I've made a schoolboy error. I've put the links to the news story in the post, but of course I can't click on them because that'll open up a web page, which means that then no one will see us.
Oh, an exercise news story.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get them up ready, but there we go.
This is Umbi Collector, and this is a club that's allowing people to practice sword fencing and things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, it's not the only one. I know one down in Exeter doing it. There's like a weekly practice fight and session in a social club, fitness club.
Yeah. So I mean, this kind of stems then into a little bit that we want to talk about. That Dennis was saying, not all LARPers are particularly fit.
Where?
Yeah.
Are you talking about these? They are fit.
Yeah.
That's the one who said it.
So it is, especially if you can find or even get a group together to actually do this on a weekly, monthly basis, whatever, fortnightly, whatever you can do, is start it, and try and use it to get your fitness level up. Because, as Tom said, Luke said, everybody has said that some of us only go to one a year and then wonder why the hell we're out of breath when we've walked up the first small mound, The reason for that is we're lazy gits sat behind a computer, a lot of us, And
it's not like with LARPers, they just go into it's like, oh, you're jogging here and there. It's like full, even if you're fit, even if you do something every week, all the way up to the LARP event, you put on that heavy armor and you're fighting. That is extensive for even someone who is fit.
Yeah.
That is exhausting.
Yeah, you're right, actually. So I've known a few people who say, we don't worry, I'll be fine at the LARP, I'm really fit. But they haven't paced themselves, they haven't understood it. And then suddenly, very early on, they're collapsing, going, how the hell are you doing this?
Yeah, they suddenly realise that 8 hours worth of wearing armour, is an 8-hour workout.
God, yeah, with no breaks. That's always
one of the things I think people also tend to forget when you are LARPing is that normally, at least in Denmark, I think it's basically the same everywhere else. We try to make it more realistic. So when you walk with metal armor, just look what it took to train a medieval knight, because it was training all life to wear the damn thing. It's not just about looking good. You need to look at an armor that fits you. You need to look at armor that is weighted so you don't stress your body too much. You need to look at armor that makes your skin breathe, so you're not capsuled in this small oven. Because everyone likes the smell of bacon, just not your bacon.
Yes.
Indeed.
I have a question in Twitch chat from White Walker is Real. He says, are there any Game of Thrones LARPing that we know about?
Well, that depends. Where is White Walker is Real from? Where are you from, White Walker? Let us know and we can have a little look. If you're UK based, I've got a website for you that you can look at. If you're somewhere else in the world, then we can probably find out and we can get the answer across to you. I'm sure Rob or what have you will start diligently looking that up.
Two in Denmark. One is Game of Thrones inspired, and the other one should be an official Game of Thrones.
Well, there you go. You got two in Denmark already. So
I think there's some in this country as well, and I'm pretty sure I've heard one in the States. So yeah, just let us know where you are.
He's in New York. So he's from the States, East Coast.
Okay.
That is. Isn't that a bit more awkward because aren't they more into buffer in America?
No. Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap, Tom. It feels like it because that's a lot of the news that you see. But no, they're just as diverse as us. To be honest,
it depends on the type of LARP you're attending to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm finding that they one of the things they do in LARP in the States, I mean, they always seem to love doing in the States anyway, is sort of ultra categorizing everything to like semi-real, light touch, buffer, heavy buffer, knock him into the next county buffer.
Yeah.
Twiddling his thumbs up.
Yeah.
So they're diverse. They just have the buffer came to the front.
But actually, I mean, we coming back to fighting. I mean, Rob and I and Stuart all did a kind of like a day with Kev McCurdy, if you remember.
Oh yeah.
I've
done. It's like I say, I've done an entire course with our Kev.
And you know the great thing about it is that I tend to agree, not only just for a fitness level, but because if you learn how to fight properly, not only are you going to be a lot better at it, but you can become more of the character. And I do think that one of the biggest problems that we have, and they used to do that at the gathering, if you remember, there was a field that was purely for those people who only did it once a year and needed to get reacquainted with the weapons again. Because the problem is you'll go in for a fight and you will absolutely cane the first person that you hit.
Yeah.
And you know, because you can't pull your blows because you don't know your own strength, and that's a real problem in fighting. You have to stop a fight because someone's just walloped you in the face, and they wouldn't intentionally do that. I don't think people do that, but they just don't realise when you've got that lovely weapon behind you there. Well, I'm pretty sure that if you tried hard enough, you could really hurt someone with it.
Yeah.
But it's not intentional. And I think when people do this kind of fighting, they have to understand that the more you do it, the more you understand about pulling your blows and you know,
We've only ever had the one guy, Luke, remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was that one. He kind of learnt the hard way. But it was kind of, it is. The thing is, to say people don't do it deliberately. I do the monkey on Tom, and he loves that. You know, because all of a sudden I'll just kind of, and he knows that then the action's coming. And all of a sudden, you know, I can just put one in, straight in on him, and he goes down.
Oh, in answer to the Game of Thrones, when I have just put a link up in the chat area for Stu.
Okay.
That goes to a Kickstarter that's been completed for a Game of Thrones LARP in the States.
Is that in the in here?
Yep, it's called what's it called? Dragon Thrones, I think.
Okay, can I grab that without coming out of the thing? No, not by the looks of it.
I can do it.
Tom's going to do that.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you
It's
do
in
that.
Twitch chat.
I'll put that in the show notes for a Game of Thrones Larp.
I hope they have a dragon.
I like that.
Yeah,
The place looks amazing.
I'll have a little look at that later when I can use my computer properly again.
Okay.
That's the only problem with this setup is the sheer fact that if I click something, guess what pops up on the screen and on here? Yeah.
That's okay. We can help out.
Thank you very much.
But yes, so that is going to go in the show notes.
Fantastic. So there you go, White Walker. That's going to go up in the show notes later on, and it'll be up on the LARPBook website as well, so you can actually sort of check that out. Probably tomorrow is my guess on that.
Yeah, good guess. That's the plan.
Yeah, good guess. Yeah, good guess too. So you know, going back then to the whole LARP can actually be a really good exercise regime for yourself, and a fun way to do it if you can get a bunch of your mates together. Like I said, we're lucky, we're quite fortunate in the fact that we do have people around us that are trained sword fighters, trained martial artists, trained whatever, stage fighters, and things like that, where we can, when they're not super busy, sort of hook into and go. Come and do a day and we'll have a laugh, you know. And all he really requires is feeding, which is great.
Don't put too much real swordsmanship or martial arts into a lab, because I've done that once or twice and it's not good.
No.
That's right. But if you remember, Rob, do you remember when we started fighting and everyone thought it was serious?
Oh, yes, that was great. I was a little scripted side. Everybody thought we were putting so much effort into it and shouting so much and role-playing it.
Yeah. I have to say, by the way, Rob has got a right hook. You really don't want to be on the end of it. You just need to know.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. I mean, you know, people can't really see it from the video, but Rob's fairly, you know, strong up top. Well, look, I will give you a scenario. I'll give you a story. I was a little bit lighter back then, but not by much. But we did do a game where Rob was actually playing Khan Noonien Singh. He had longer hair and everything back then. It was TOS generation stuff, and he, at one point, he has to pick me up just under my arms and physically throw me like that, right? And he handled it with no problem at all. So, you know, just saying, don't mess with the Rob.
Yeah, that's true. That
Yeah,
that was a good one. I enjoyed that.
What? Toss the dwarf.
Okay, that's good. So actually, that's a good question, Dennis. I got a question for you. In UK, we're getting some LARPs where people are very keen on sort of physical contact, but there's also really big good growth in people saying LARP must never have any physical contact. We're kind of like a disparity growing up between yes, there should be, and no, there shouldn't be. I'm wondering in Denmark, what's going on there with that?
In Denmark, when it comes to LARP battles, we have some few systems and actually quite few rules about what to do with a weapon and not to do with a weapon. We have something we call machine gun beatings. It's when you're beating too fast.
That's
with a weapon. It's a no-go. We try also to limit how hard we are hitting each other. It's sort of like a stage fight. The idea about it, that you only go in and mark. Because the most of the people in Danish LARPing communities, when it comes to the big battles, we have a war LARP based on the Warhammer fantasy universe, which has gone on for a few years, and it's one of the biggest fighting events when it comes to LARP in Denmark. And most of the people who are there, they also reenactors, so they're used to handling these metal weapons.
Yeah.
So we have this sort of mixed culture in how we are supposed to fight, and because we have these guys who knows the real weapons, and those guys who only knows the latex weapons and the foam weapons, they come together and sort of make a mixture of what is supposed to be possible and what is not.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how we do it in Denmark.
Yeah, it's that whole
very, very similar.
Yeah, it's that whole suspension of disbelief to a degree, isn't it? You know, if most people actually used a LARP sword like a real sword, yeah, then the blows would be take a lot longer to get there and what have you. But of course, these things are lightweight and what have you. So yeah, you can swing.
We have tried with the weighted weapons to try to give at least the feeling of that this is a heavy weapon, so all the weight is in the handle.
Yeah.
And in Denmark, in Jutland especially, there we have Kalimasil, where a lot of us, the youths, as we call us, we like Kalimasil because you have this more feeling of actually having a weapon, where the people from Zealand, the biggest island in Denmark, and where we have Copenhagen and everything, not all of those over there are as glad of Kalimasil as the youths are for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, because I must admit, when I'm using a LARP weapon, I much prefer it if it's weighted in some way, because it just feels more real to me. Kalimasil, all just weighted latex weapons are just, that's what works for me.
Having said that, though, I mean, I have seen some reenactments where if you've got two very well trained, fighters, that they can use real weapons. I suppose the problem is that, once you start to spar with proper weapons, which I've got no problem with because reenactors do that, then the people around directly affected, and a lot of LARP has a fair few people fighting, and of course you've got to be very aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you accidentally wallop someone with a LARP sword, you're likely to come out of it. But do you remember that time in the Gathering? And I thought it was a Dane who actually bought a real sword and wrapped it in latex and brought it onto the Gathering, and it caused pandemonium. If you remember, I very vaguely remember it.
That was but wasn't Italians?
I don't know. I can't remember. I thought it was not to kind of stereotype the Danes or anything. But
in Denmark, when we talk about LARP history in Denmark, there's a similar story like that always pops up, like one who had took a real weapon and just wrap it in some tape and thought that was okay, and some have taken old barber's blade and put it inside to really hurt people. And I think, I don't know if it really happened or not, because actually no one really does, but the stories are out there for some reason.
No, we were there. It actually happened. I was there that year because a few things happened. It was just one of those events where a lot of things happened that you kind of really wished it hadn't. But it is there. But I'm not so offended by real weapon fighting. I just think that there is a place for it, and I think you've got to have consensus across the board. I don't think you can have that mix. I think you are either you're LARPing and it's all fantasy as such, and I think then you have to really work at trying to make the swordplay real, and that's when stage fighting comes into it. Well, you will use real weapons, and therefore stage fighting. You either are very good at it, or it just looks awful.
I agree. I mean, I think it should be more of a theatrically staged setting, as in this drives plot type thing. Two people that are very well trained and have practiced, and deliver a set piece then. To drive the story along, then that's perfectly fine. But I mean, I have seen some LARPs and what have you that are full contact with blunted weapons, right? They're not sharp steel, but that's still full contact with metal, and you know, I think personally they're a little bit crazy. But there you go.
In Denmark, it's almost 10 years back. Over in Copenhagen, we tried to have a new sort of festival we called Midwinter Festival, because LARP was really exploding in Denmark into pop culture at the time. As Martin, he sort of touched on the subject, we had LARP weapons in our mini markets. You could buy them there, and that's how big it was on TV. It had its own TV shows and everything. It was really big there, and because of that, they made this Midwinter Festival where you had LARPers, you had medieval reenactors, and Viking reenactors there, and there would be this battle arena there where these three groups will fight each other, and there were a lot of concerns about this because you have metal weapons against foam weapons, because it's not the same protection, because many of the things you do when you have a metal weapon, you try to block the weapon in a different way, and you can't do that with a foam weapon with a glass fiber core. You just can't.
No, you can't.
But they did it anyway, and in some way they succeeded in having these battles for 3 years at least. And then for some reason there was not enough guests to make it run around, and the medieval festival was just dropped. But for a period there was this special festival where you had 3 things going on at the same time.
That sounds, the festival sounds fantastic. I mean, fighting with steel and latex, I agree, that sounds a bit odd, but...
Yeah, but at least if you look at it some way, it was a reason to see a Viking go head to toes with an orc.
That would be great. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there was a lot of fine things about the idea, and because it's sort of LARP is sort of subcultures to these 2 things anyway, and and then they ain't. It's a good place for LARPers to go buy a lot of stuff, because you can get something that's handcrafted for the 2 other places, and you can get the cheap LARP equipment from the LARPers. And normally when we talk about winter clothing and everything, we tend to tell people, just go and look how they made it in the Viking Age or in the medieval age, and so buy the same materials, because they are stronger, they help you keep warm, they also help you keep cool and everything. Because do it right, because when you have done it right the first time, you will have a costume that can last for a few years, instead of a costume that's made of cheap materials that only lasts around a season or 2.
Yeah. Oh, Martin's just come back on the chat, by the way.
Yeah,
he agrees that it was probably a Dane who had a weapon wrapped up in duct tape. And he's also made the point that he thinks there's LARPs metal weapons in Poland. I think he's right about that, actually. I think
it's true, and they have it in Russia too.
Yeah.
Like
I say, I think you just got to be very, very aware. And because I think I don't understand why people get so offended at it. Because I think if you go and you know that's what's going to be there, you're going for that reason. You're taking it all in. And I think there's a lot of reality that you can't hide away from with a real weapon that you can when you've got LARPing, you know, kind of latex weapons. So I think you've just got to, as an organizer, make it very aware and make everyone aware that's what you're going to do. And then people can at least then make a decision as to whether they want to go to it or not.
Or at least
about choices.
Stay out of the combat.
Well, I think a lot of people do. I mean, I remember seeing an awful lot of people at the Gathering and the Mayfest and loads of other places I've been to that purely go for the plot and the discussion and the meetings and everything else. That's what they get out of it. And I think a really good LARP event has got that for everyone. If you don't want to be fighting, that's fine. But I know some people, and that's all they want to do. They go for the adventure, they go for the fighting and the scrapping, and that's good too. And I think if you can have that fine balance, then that makes for a very, very good, kind of LARPing event. It's about choice, isn't it? And I think you've got to make your own fun as well as you know, kind of expecting to be a part of it.
We do.
Yeah, definitely.
But by the way, White Walker, I have just seen the picture that you sent over to Larpforge. Oh my god, that costume is sweet. That's amazing. That is a White Walker, dude. If that was walking down the street to me, I'd be going back into my house pretty much quickly.
Can we put that up on the LARPBook website?
I think so. If we get White Walker's permission, if you give us permission in chat to do that, that would be fantastic.
Then we'll put it in the show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll.
So, yeah, if you give permission from White Walker, Duke, you can capture that picture. I haven't seen it just yet, but and then with permission, yes, of course we will.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll as soon as he gives me permission to do that, I'll save the image, and perhaps we can use that as the backdrop for the show notes, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's
yeah,
great.
as long as he's happy with that. So, yep, there you go. White Walker said yes. So save image as.
Thank you, White Walker.
Having that.
Having that.
I was just looking, you know, I don't know where this Tim Clark, who did the connector, where is that? Because it talks about a place in Coburn Hall, but I can't see where that is.
Oh, you back to the article, yeah?
Yeah.
That is Canada, Ontario, something like that, if I remember rightly. Is that the one you're on about?
Only about the 7th kind of paragraph down, he does say they kind of practice on a 7 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You know, I thought, well, since we were going there, that's where they do it. And I thought, well, if it was local, which Canada isn't, then we could, you know, kind of advertise that. But if you're in Canada, just to let you know.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And by the way, White Walker has just said that he was actually featured on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I'm assuming in that costume. And not just featured generally on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Yeah. There we go. So there we go. I think that's the conclusion of our LARP.
Before I go on, I think I know where that LARP club is, Luke.
Go on then. Turn some lights on.
The website is for UMass.
Yeah.
And UMass is, according to Google, the University of Massachusetts.
Here we go.
Oh, there we are.
Massachusetts.
A hell of a walk. Massive Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there we go. So I think that kind of concludes our talk on physical fitness and LARP, even though we went slightly off at a tangent. Hey.
Really? That's unusual for us.
Who knew?
All right, we're normally on the ball.
On the button.
Never straight.
Straight down the line. Yeah, absolutely. Sticking to the script.
I've never been on the show for this long, so I would never know. What's the current sweepstake at, by the way? Have we got any money?
You're actually on over an hour, mate. That's
wow.
Well, that's so how much money do you know charity according to Dennis?
I owe Dennis now 50 quid. It's having a really expensive thing for me. Can we get that test card up at any minute now? I've only got it on me.
Yes, I can. The sound will vanish. But there we go. That was up very briefly. If you watch it live, you'll see the test card, although you wouldn't hear any sound. I'm sure Tom will spot it in a minute. I'm waiting.
I'm waiting.
It is. I'm waiting for the giggle.
Oh my god, it's the old BBC Two one. That's the first time I've seen that.
But there we go. The sort of things we do here, because we get bored really easy.
We need to get out a little bit more, don't we?
Oh yeah, I'd say. Right, so let's then move on a little bit now to because summer's coming up, right? In the UK and around the world and what have you, and a lot of LARPs start happening from this point forwards. In fact, we got a whole bunch to actually sort of tell people about later on. So let's say someone as Martin, wait, no tech problems. Shush, Martin.
I'm about to say what our secret is.
Yeah, we have prayed to the gods of tech. All right. We give them a human offering and everything, you know. But there we go.
Sacrifice my children again.
Exactly. But of course, you know, people might be going along now to their first ever LARP. Now, some systems, I certainly know Fear of the Dark used to do, you couldn't be an NPC until you'd played. Now, a lot of other systems do it the other way round, where you have to be an NPC before you're a player, right? So that depends, you know, just, you know, it's a good way, Tom, to introduce people to the LARP setting, get them in the mindset.
But I've never heard, mind you, my experience with different LARPs, I have 2 LARPs I go to. Well, 3 sometimes. I go to Gideon sometimes. But to force someone into an NPC, when even if they're confident enough to do a player, that seems harsh.
Yeah, but you know, it's purely up to the system. You know, some people have those rules. Fear of the Dark definitely has that rule of, or certainly did, whether or not you know, it's now under new management. As in new management, it's his daughter that's doing it. That it was, you know, you had to experience Fear of the Dark before you could get into the back room. Yeah. And that was the idea behind that. You know, you had to come along to one of the games as a player, get the, you know, living bejesus scared out of you before you could see how the sauce was made.
I understand the idea about you need to have some experience LARPing before you be an NPC. But generally, I'm against not letting people play what they want in some way, because I think it's all about storytelling. You can help people which are new and say, okay, have you thought about what your character is like? What's its pros and cons? What flaws do you have? Because flaws is actually what makes your character fun. And I can understand when you go in and help them maybe make a background for your character to make sure that what your character fits in the grand scheme of it all in some way. But not letting, say, you have to start as an NPC or you have to start as a player. I'm just against that.
No, well, I can understand that point, Dennis. Yeah, I mean, people should be playing what they're comfortable playing.
Yeah, well, we've always said the best fun that you have when you first start is as a monster.
Oh yeah,
because
we have
Lucas. Yes, we
so
have.
Much fun. I mean, if you were gonna, I tend to, I don't know. I don't know whether I agree with the fact that with playing, I think you've got to support people to succeed, and I'll take that from network marketing. If you support people, if they've got a character and they've got the enthusiasm, I think if you support them, then they'll get the most out of what it is they want to do. I'm not convinced that they have to know every single rule, because I don't know anyone in all of the rules. But I certainly know that if I was going to go to my first LARP event, the most fun I've had is through monstering, because there is no expectation. You get to see the whole of the system, you know, kind of without really any kind of negatives. You get to go and kick the living bejesus out of people. And you know, and there's a lot to be said for that, because actually by learning the back room first and learning how the system works, you can then say, well, I love that character, but I don't think I could play that. I mean, there's nothing worse, is there, than having a character that you think is a really good idea, but then doesn't fit in with the story.
I can see that.
And then all of a sudden, because you're not experienced, you don't know how to remedy that. You know, I've always played evil people, because evil characters can literally just go in there and do whatever they want to do. There's no expectation. But monstering is even more fun. And I love, that's what I would always recommend, but that's me personally. I mean, whenever I've played a character, I've always suffered that people only see me as a stereotype. And not as anything else. So I've started to kick off, and people are going, whoa, and they can't cope with it, you know. So I've really then I've not enjoyed it, because people think I'm, you know, having a moment. So what I do is I do monstering, and I found that I'm good at it, that people like me as it, and I'm effective, and I have fun, they have fun, everyone's there, and you know, and I like it. That's what I like. but there's nothing like playing you know, non-player characters, and I do get a lot, although I have to say, for me, player characters are my bag, you know. Sorry, go on.
So just to make sure I understand what you mean, when you play a monster, is it a general thing that when you play a monster, you are an NPC?
To a certain degree, you are,
Yeah.
yes. Anyway, but what they do, that I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of NPCs are really plot thickeners, that they used as plot thickeners when it comes to a lot of the events that I've been to. That they're very, very carved, very specific, targeted characters that are then brought in at specific times in order to carry the story on. And I think in that respect, I would understand why some systems go, look, you really do need to understand the system before you can then understand what an NPC does. But the NPCs can just be throwaway characters as well, which is what I've done, and I've played a few of those. And again, that's almost like monstering, where there is simply no pressure on you. You just do that character, and it really doesn't matter whether it survives or dies.
Okay. In Denmark, usually, the way we do it is when you take the small campaigns, the DMs sort of play different NPC roles. That's normally their thing, or they hire people to it. But monsters are normal players and all game. But because when I go out to a LARP and a campaign LARP, if I play a human on a basic adventure or something, I wouldn't recommend that you're starting there, because I think it's more fun to play a monster, because as the standard adventurer, okay, you can go to the end, you can sign up to the army, find a skill, etc., etc., etc. But usually the monsters in Danish LARPs, in the small campaigns, they are a compact group of people who needs to get their LARPing spirit to work separately of the main part of the campaign, even though the GMs give them a lots of things to do, a lots of quests. Because when if you are the gang of orcs or gang of goblins, you know people are coming to get you, because you are perceived as the evil characters, because that's your lot in the
stereotypes.
And that's your lot in the LARP, but it makes good fun. I learned most role playing as a monster this way, because you need to find something to entertain yourself in this group, because you're on the run the most of the time. You need it learned me a lot about the combat tactics and how to attack people, and be a bit sneaky about it and be political about it. When I play the Dark Elf, you need to put a lot of politics in also, because else you are going to get headhunted for the rest of the day, and that's a long time to be like that. So but in Denmark we also have these LARPs where some people are just hired to be the classical monster NPC and go out and scare people, and be this main bad villain sort of character. But in our small campaigns, this is usually how we do it. It's small player characters. They play characters like anyone else, and they evolve like anyone else. They just either have it a bit harder, depending how good their group communication are. And the orcs for me were the group which really learned me the value of working together more than joining the actual army did, because let's face it, in this type of system we use here, the army actually has it quite easy, because it can always count on the support of the villagers. You cannot do that as the orcs. You can maybe make an alliance with the goblins, and maybe a shafty alliance with the rogues, but you should not expect this to last unless you are just beating the crap out of them every time they try to do something strange.
But this is,
exactly.
I think this starts another question, doesn't it? I mean, many of the role play events that I've been to that I thought have been slightly spoiled have been because the player characters have been in that character for too long. And there's a part of me that kind of thinks that there should be a shelf life. I think mainly because you just get so attached to that one character that to lose it then means you lose the fun. You're always trying to keep it alive. You're always trying to play the political games. And I have seen a lot of them cheat almost to stay alive and to remain as that one character, because it's very powerful. They've spent years getting it that way. And I'm not too sure, or I should say I'm not convinced that's a very healthy thing to do. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on having a character's shelf life and saying, look, you know, get where you want to in 3 years, but then after 3 years, you've really got to move on.
Yeah, no, look, right. Every character that I've actually liked, right, has died horribly and miserably. Every throwaway character that I've always made has lasted goddamn years, right? It's as simple as that. So here's my tip to you when creating a character. Don't care about it. It'll last forever.
But do you think, Dennis, you're looking like you've got a point?
When me and Martin started our lab group and made our own lab, we based we actually had precisely this discussion, because there was this lab in our local area before that was called Voltime, and it had been going on for over 10 years, and you have and it was a monthly campaign. And you have players which have had their characters that never died. And because of that, we saw in this campaign rule set, because they have maxed out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then they shoved in some stupid abilities because they needed you to involve with something. So you saw people get the abilities named Glass Jaw, because it's the ability to make you lose a fist fight. And we thought about that. We won't do that. So we consequently at our campaign, we rebooted it every year. So you have eight times you could play this character, and then we would make a time jump or a time lapse the year after. Also, we were the rules in our system were always evolving, and we're always making new magical adjustments and try to experiment on what we actually want this lab to be in the long run. But only one time we had it going for 2 years with the same characters, and never more. So
that's actually a pretty good idea. Literally give the characters a shelf life. I like it. Yeah,
I like that idea, Dan. It's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I can understand. I mean, if you've got a really good character and you like it, and you know, because it's easier said than done, isn't it? I mean, giving someone a shelf life and then saying, well, actually, you buy all the armor for it, you buy all the accessories, can cost you an absolute fortune. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, you've got to then redo all of that and find something else, you know, to do. And I can see that. You know, a lot of people put a lot of effort into their characters, and so they want to continue that character. But I do think there is that danger, isn't there, where you can get quite stale, and then, like you say, you're having to give them something, you know, ginormous in order to try and keep them entertained. Do more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
I personally don't like the idea of a shelf life for a character.
Shut up.
No, because of what Luke just said. Imagine putting all the effort in the backstory, in you starting your character, and all those times you go into LARP events and new stories added to that character, new background. I do believe there should be a power cap. I do believe if you have a progression system, I do believe there should be a point where you cannot get any more powerful. I mean, maybe you can get some items and stuff like this, but you reach a point and you can get more powerful, right? And if that's not good enough for you, if you want to continue to getting, you know, more powerful and you like that progression, start again. Get another character and start again. Because there are problems in some LARPs that characters just keep going. And the new characters that join in are level 1 or whatever. Let's say one's at level 1 and one's at level 15. Well, the problem that the organisers have got then is they've got to balance the monsters for level 15s and level 1s. And what tends to happen is that they'll balance it for the level 15s. So all the level 1s are going, like that, and the monster's going
Looking at the watches.
immune, like that, and it's for the level 15s. So I feel there needs to be a cap on how powerful a certain character can become, but I don't believe that someone should be forced to shelf their character just because they just like playing that character.
Okay, yeah, I completely see where you go with that, Tom. Right, I'll tell you now that my own personal experience as well, of the characters that I have had for quite a number of years. Right, eventually I kill them off. Yeah, but it's amazing that the next character that comes along is wearing almost the exact same armor.
I mean,
it's bizarre.
Do that. Yeah, you can do that if you want. That's. I mean, I use the same armor for multiple characters because I don't have a limitless amount of money to buy new armor for each new character that I make. But it's not so much that the gear. It's more that it's a character that you've created, and if you're having fun playing that character, why should someone come up to you and say no? You're not allowed to play that character anymore. Sorry.
Dennis in a sec. I think he's got a point on this.
The way we did it when we stopped, the players knew it from the beginning.
That's fair enough.
That you have this period, but we have never had the problem. The players actually seem to enjoy it. It's more like it's also. Do any of you guys carry around an extra costume just in case of your character dying?
Oh yeah, very often, yes.
I would if I could afford an extra costume.
Some don't. An extra pair of trousers, Thomas, and an extra shirt, just to make sure you look a bit different.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive. And as Martin, he said in the YouTube chat, then you can play a later character of the first one. And I see a lot of people doing that. We saw a lot of people just sort of some ways remaking their character to the new system, and also in experience, and still have fun with it. But also when you have a sort of a level cap, you can go beyond this point. And it's right, you talked about I will, Martin, I will. When you have a high level cap, it's right. You have to balance out the system, and we always try to balance out the system from the beginning. You should be able to start as a level 1 character, and you need to beat the crap out of everyone. Okay, it would be a bit harder to kill a character which have been living for 30 levels or something like that, because he has some more abilities. He maybe have some more life points. Better armor points, whatever the system has, but it doesn't mean you don't have the chance to kill him, because then group plays comes in. Please, we have to be together to fight him, or you have to trick him, because you buy a potion from the wicked man over at the corner at the end and say, "Oh, this one will kill the bastard for you." I guarantee it.
We had a request from Martin. Dennis, he wants you to tell us about the pirate fantasy and what happened when he died.
Tell us about the pirate fantasy.
We decided we wanted to make a pirate LARP. But in Denmark, at that time, the few pirate LARPs that have been there was, almost like Pirates of the Caribbean. And we were a few people which really liked Treasure Planet, Disney's animation, and really enjoyed the idea of this pirate world with a lot of different races. And we thought, okay, now we take your stereotypical fantasy world and you boost it up to the 1700s instead of staying in the Middle Ages. So we built cannons and we built guns and everything. And I don't remember how I actually died. Precisely once to. But I played a orc pirate captain called Octavius V, and it's wobble belly. It sort of translates to that, or gel belly or something. Because I have this huge pillow and my stomach will go bloop, 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 bloop.
Brilliant.
And I always made fun. It's sort of like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, you know, the do 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 when I came walking. And we had a character. We had this crew, and when we were sailing in the boats, because we couldn't do it in real life, of course, we have made a game board where we have these pirate ships pieces. But every character had something they could do upon this boat. They could be a navigator. Navigator helps you for an extra roll to get to where you needed to go. Yeah. Some people will help you fight. And when you were attacked, we have 2 fake ships, which was just an area marked out, sort of like ship form, where we will attack each other from deck to deck. And what happened was that this orc and his doctor needed a new crew. And I was standing as this orc here and telling about the Great Molly. I remember now. I was an orc. Remember this, I was an orc, because it's going to get really important later.
We'll have to write this down.
Yeah. We were telling the people, oh, welcome to the great ship Molly. We are pirate hunters. Do you know what a pirate is? And then some of them were stupid enough to say yes. So you are a pirate then? No. I know about pirates. That's not the same thing. The only reason you know about pirates, that's either by being a pirate hunter, which we are, or by being a pirate. And I haven't seen you in the pirate hunting guild lately, so you must be a pirate. And that's the main reason we always get people killed or hanged for being a pirate, even if they weren't. And when I got the new crew, it was a 7-man crew. I would like to show them the last navigator we had on board, and we called him Geo. And then the doctor, I said to the doctor, please, doc, show them Geo. And he empties his bag, and there was hands and limbs and everything falling out. And all just looked at the limbs. Who's that? That's Geo. He's the navigator. But right now, he's not like he's supposed to be. But one day we will find the torso and the rest of it. And then the doctor would cut off arms of every people he will meet, and sew on Geo's limbs onto them to make the blood flow go around, so it don't rot and everything. So we had a crew which were half orc, half drow, and half Geo, and everything. It was really stupid. And this great orc captain of mine, which had a white hand, because I have also donated to Geo. So I had a white arm. I died. It was not that I died that was really important. What was important, that my cousin came back, but my cousin wasn't an orc, because I couldn't find the orc paint for the next scenario. So you had basically the same character going from being an orc, all green with big hook fangs and everything, to be a white man with hook fangs. Basically the same person. And what we talked about instead, it was because, it's just because it's not really his cousin. He's more like a Frankenstein creature. It's just the other parts of Geo, and now it's everything has been changed. So that's how he can would go from green to white.
Dad stopped over in a port one night, love happened. This is, and there you are.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I didn't question that. My character was fine. He was on pirates. And it gave some confusion when you were talking to the harbour master, and he said, okay, where's the captain of the Molly? Well, I'm the captain. Shut up. The captain is an orc. I'm an orc? Well, you're more like an albino, ain't you? Albino orc, yes. And I will go, that's racism, isn't it?
Excellent.
Then we will have a discussion there.
We have a question from White Walker. Apparently, he was taking pictures at the Game of Thrones live music experience. Didn't know there was one at Madison Square Garden, and he had women hitting on him while he was in costume as a White Walker. Has that happened to any of you while LARPing? I'll start that off. Yes.
Well, I hit on Stuart all the time.
That's what I was referring to.
I
nobody
was
else.
gonna ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
As you know, I mean, I find him very attractive in armour. I just can't help myself. I'm only human.
Well,
Exactly.
You know, I don't think I've ever had anyone sit there and go, "For crikey, I'll have a piece of that leather-clad buttock-less chap man over there." I don't think I've been ever that lucky.
I
have to
would.
say. Well, you always would, but you're not that. You're not love. You're just sex. So I don't think I've ever had. I never had that. And even if I had, I would never tell you on air because my wife could be watching.
That.
Love you. Tom?
Not really. I mean, in character, yeah, but that's in character. No, because the LARPs I go to are kind of a close kind of knit group. They're not like thousands of people, hundreds. It's sub 50.
Are you only saying that you're attractive if you're in a massive group of 50? What exactly does that mean, Tom? Is that like, is he attractive? Hang on a minute. All
I'm just saying is that no. In character, maybe. Out of character, no, I don't think so.
But Rob has. What about you, Rob? Oh,
I do believe he's pleading the fifth.
All that hair.
This to see what happens when you go to a big LARP with long hair and yeah.
The problem is, Rob, none of us can say we've all been there because we kind of haven't. So.
No,
that's right. Yeah.
Getting kind of jealous, actually.
How about you then, Dennis? Anybody ever hit on you when you're in character, mate?
Yeah.
There we go. Good lad.
Natural.
I always got raped once.
Oh.
In character though, but
right.
also, he wouldn't leave me alone, and that was the problem. He wouldn't leave me alone. I had in my younger days there. I had a lot of people when you're wearing armor. It's not normally there. They come. Some of the girls and they, oh, you're handsome in that fancy armor of yours. I wonder what's beneath. Oh, is that tuna? I would like to lick that. What else?
Oh, that's just.
But normally when I get hit on, it's always by guys for some reason.
Oddly enough, Luke and I have the exact same problem.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, some people think, oh, you like a sausage, don't you?
And of course, you know, you have to answer. You know, you have to answer. Yeah, I love sausage.
Yeah,
It's great.
Cumberland.
Right.
I suppose it must
Great
be.
sausage. I like it with onion and curry and everything on it.
It's kind of hard to, you know, kind of really role play if someone's humping your leg, though. So I can imagine that.
Look, I only did that the once. I only did that the once. All right.
Yeah, you've got to stop, and I've never forgotten that. I've still got the bruises.
But what I think normally when you have a good costume and some people say, see, you've done really a lot into it. Of course, some people will come and try to get all your secrets. Some is just there for admiring the costume, and some is want to see what's under the costume.
Yeah. The only one we've ever really hit on properly is Alistair, really.
Yeah. But we keep on mistaking Alistair for Amy.
It's strange.
You know, because they're so similar.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's go back a couple of fields and start, you know, how to build your character.
An hour and a half in on the second article.
That's the pricey of it. You could have come to skip to the end. We'll just tell you, go, let me look it up. Yeah. That's
right. Yeah. Well, we do actually have a link anyway, but Here are the kind of do's, I suppose, and a few don'ts. Yeah, start with a history. Yeah, start with a history of your character. That's the best way to flesh out and get a mindset. Where's your character from? What's their life been like, and what have you? Yeah,
Okay.
and then. From that point forward, then look to the future. Look to the future. Where's your character? Where do you think your character is going to be going? What's their goal? What's their destiny of that?
Are we talking about new players?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Then I don't agree with you.
Yeah,
I really don't agree. I think if you start a new character and it's the first time you LARP,
yeah,
don't think about where it came from. Just think about a few flaws, maybe from yourself.
yeah.
And then let it happen. Go more as yourself for your first character.
Yeah.
Because it's your first experience. So you will go like, oh, that's an orc. Let be that a part of your character.
Yeah.
The way you perceive the world and experience everything for the first time, that's your role. That's how you should be.
Yeah.
Your first character should be more like you than everything else. The next character, however, then you can start building up this massive backstory. You can start building up a few pros and cons and everything. But I think that's all for the second character. For the first character, keep it simple.
I do actually agree with that.
It's much easier to play you for you.
Yeah.
It is to play something you haven't. You can tweak it a bit after it gets older and something. You can add on to it and give it these things along the way. But if you start, I actually think this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a good point, Dennis, because you're trying to take on a lot of one go when you're a new player. You're trying to understand the group dynamics. You're trying to understand the game. You're trying to understand any mechanics there are.
Especially if it's a really big event that is your first.
The
bigger the event, the more I think this applies to.
If your first event's a big event, you're going around like this.
Yeah.
You know, eyes wide open. You're like, what have I just walked into? The next thing I want to come on to is costume, right? Take it from me, don't spend a lot on your costume in the beginning. Unless you've got a load of cash and don't care about it, right? Then crack on, good luck to you. But you don't know at this point in time whether or not you're going to enjoy this hobby. So visit second-hand stores, thrift stores, whatever you call them in your country, right? See what stuff you can sort of find off the peg for really cheap. If you do have the money, you can obviously purchase, your costumes online and get them sort of nicely fitted to you in that respect. I mean, crack on with that. If you've got the cash, then why not? You can always sell it on if it's not for you. Someone will buy it. Or, of course, if you are that way inclined, make your own, right? It's really easy, especially if it's fantasy LARP, to make some tabards and to wear loose-fitting jumpers, that sort of thing. As long as there's no logos on them and what have you. Or if they
is very fantasy.
Very, very fantasy. Or if they are, turn them inside out so it looks rough and what have you. Not neatly stitched, because the inside of a lot of clothes don't look that fantastic. So turn it inside out, that sort of thing. But my takeaway from that is don't spend a fortune. You don't know whether or not you're going to enjoy this hobby. I can almost guarantee you will. Right, and you'll be need more kit.
Yeah.
But
or you could ask your mates. That's what I did.
Yeah.
When I went to LARPing, I didn't know if I was going to like it. I really didn't think I would like it. So I went to them and I borrowed a load of gear from a load of mates. It wasn't much. It was a sword, some some kind of just like pretty basic black armor and stuff. And I went and fell in love with it, and then the rest is history. But if you go into a first LARP, ask to borrow some stuff from your mates.
A lot of big LARPs as well. I certainly know Curious Pastimes do this in the UK. Is they always have, and we were amazed when we were there. They always have a load of stuff just left behind at the end of a LARP. So what they do is they put it into a big collection, and they have a big collection. And if there's something you don't have, they'll let you borrow it, or even probably keep it, because no one's claimed it. Rock on, there you go. Chuck a donation in the pot for whatever. So, you know, they'll probably be able to help you out depending on the LARP system. But, you know, don't spend a load of cash in the beginning, you know, in that one.
Keep it simple.
Oh, yeah. You know,
Yeah,
and
simple's good.
And the next thing is, for me, is depending on the character you play and what have you. Is that a feather duster, Tom? Depending on that fell on the back there, it looked like a feather duster.
That's my clothes.
Are we getting some jiggy time? The clothes are feather. No, right. Is no matter, you know, how badass your character is, a bit of a, you know, rogue and shy and what have you. Remember that LARP is a real community. It's a social activity. Yeah. So mingle, right? It's really easy to play that character in the corner, all sullen and doesn't talk to anybody. But I'll tell you now, you're probably going to get bored of that real fast, and you want to going to have a talk to someone. So start off. That's mine, right? I can't stand the characters unless I'm really tired, in which case I'll go into one of those characters that'll just sleep in the corner. But, you know, I like to be communicative and like to sort of get involved. Ooh, what's going on? That sort of thing. So that's kind of one of the things that I would say, get in there, get stuck in, find out what's going on, ask people questions, and be social.
Yeah, definitely.
We always say that we will go out and stir the honeypot. Make a lot of bad choices on purpose.
Yeah.
So if you have the magic salesman who said, "Oh, you can't touch this sign; it's cursed. Go and touch it."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the basic example. If they tell you not to touch the big red button, go and touch it, punch it, smack it, do everything you can to push it in, because that's also usually the way for the DMs to say something bad will happen.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to get involved, because if you get your hands a bit dirty, you will see a lot and you will get a lot. From
Yeah, you're right.
Anybody that has ever role played with me will tell you, if there's a lever that says "do not pull," guess what I'm doing.
Yeah, and hold your tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, that got me killed.
Oh,
it's even worse when the lever says, "Undo it." Oh, you pussy!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I am absolutely the one that goes, "Is that an electric socket?" You know.
But I totally agree with you, because I think there have been some events I've been to that have been so big that you could never be part of the major plot. It was just never going to happen. And so you have made your own fun. And we've gone and done the stupidest of things and had the most fun. And in fact, actually, the refs have seen us having fun and have come and joined us. I mean, I can always remember the refs coming as ninjas, trying to install air conditioning into the party camp. They're the most ridiculous thing. And they all came up in one line, all behind each other. And it was the worst accent that I'd ever been, but you couldn't help but laugh. And they go, "We're here, fit air conditioning. Your boss say, come in, make tea, fit air conditioning." and all they were doing was just causing trouble to see if anyone would bite.
Yeah.
And of course, they came to the wrong people, because we just did not. And we caused havoc. But we had the most fun. You know, and of course, you know, well, I don't know whether you were there when we had the drow and the matron mothers "Don't look me in the eye."
It's got to be done.
You could now be like you say, you know, if there's a button that says "Don't press me," you've got to go and press it just to, you know, take the story along. I'm fully up for that. Although I think I don't know whether some organisers find that you know, the wrong thing to do. They want you to always play by the rules. That there's no manoeuvre for, you know, kind of doing anything out of the ordinary, if you see what I mean. But I mean, for me, I think that those make the best events.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, just go and cause mayhem. And I think personality, though, I think you, like you say, you get more involved by proxy because people have got to come and talk to you because you've just ruined the plot. And the only way they can get it back on track again is if they come and, you know, chastise you or put you in prison. And I've been in both, you know, and it's great. I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. And what Stuart and I have got an hell of a reputation for doing that.
I don't know what you mean.
No, you do. You know. No, you really do.
With me and Martin, it's usually me and Martin will stand together beside each other, and we will be looking at this crystal, and we will just, so you ain't supposed to touch that, eh? You're not supposed to touch it. And then I would just push Martin out of the crystal just to see what happens. And that's, almost every time me and Martin we LARP, and we stand beside each other for some reason where there's something we are not supposed to do, I always push him out. He knows it, but still,
friend.
He knows this is going to get us to do something else.
Everybody,
he respects it.
Yeah, everybody needs another friend who is cannon fodder. It's just as simple as that. Really.
No.
I usually go and do it with Michael, and in our kill group we had one who's got simulated a conquest at the Black Eyes. He was called Morton, and then Martin and another one called Patrick, they started, we need to rescue him. How the hell do we infiltrate the Black Eyes? The undead is over there. So they went back to camp and started to take all the ashes from the campfire and wash their faces in it, so they turned grey. And every time either one of the Black Eyes or one of the undead went near them, they would go, "Oh, we are undead. You can't see us." And suddenly they were standing in the middle of the NPC camp and see some undeads doing the dishes and something. They were at a place they were not supposed to. And then they went back to camp and what are we going to do about Morton? He will come around eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way to do it.
I would love if someone did that and got so engrossed in the NPC camp, but when the final battle comes, he's literally in the NPC lines going, what do I do? And marching towards your own friends.
Yeah, you got to.
I've walked into every single enemy's faction camp as a deaf mute.
Yeah.
There we go.
Done quite a lot of that.
Oh yeah. Right, let's move on quickly. We're already an hour and 40 minutes into this.
And nothing's broken down yet.
I've survived.
You have survived.
Here.
See. In it. I've survived.
Apparently, Dennis, you've killed Martin by pushing him out the front line.
Well,
No.
tends to always play characters which do not like fighting.
Yeah.
Or like conflicts.
See, look.
And the last few years, I have always played his dad. So it's like, come on, son, get out and fight. I won't, Daddy. I won't fight. You can make me. Of course I can. Here.
See, every friend needs another friend that's cannon fodder.
Get attacked, I would just hide behind the biggest guy I can find and just push him out. And people get
Sorry.
Everybody needs that other friend that is cannon fodder. It's just the way it goes. Hello, Luke.
But just a conclusion to this. Don't be afraid to make your own plot. Just go out there and do something, even if it doesn't mean shit to the main plot.
Yeah, don't expect to be entertained. Make your own fun. If the entertainment's not coming your way, go for it. Right?
Yeah.
Make your own stuff up. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be afraid you're going to break something or do something wrong, because you're not.
Yeah.
No.
If you are, The refs will tell you. Whoa. Or they just won't count it towards everything if you've managed to nick a particular special dagger that was needed for whatever, or blah blah blah, that had the soul of somebody in it. Who knows, right? Just bloody enjoy yourselves. Go out there, have fun, meet new people, get some exercise.
Hit them with rubber swords.
Hit them with rubber swords. Right, let's move on now. Right, to just let's get these. It sounds terrible. Let's get these events out of the way, because there's a load happening in May. So what I'm going to be trying to do is the month before is just sort of tell you what's coming up the next month. And what have you, and how to get in contact with these people. So May 12th to May 14th is Diaspora LRP Event. That is to be confirmed, but it's probably going to go ahead. It's by the Flaming Efreeti Productions, and it's a steampunk one in South Yorkshire. So there you go, Luke. There's one for you.
Yeah, let's go to
that. May 12th to May 14th also is Cataclysm Event 2, Part 2. An Echo Rises. That's by Hive Cataclysm. It's post-apocalyptic. It's in Coventry, so that fits in lovely. And it's in in Warwickshire.
Even need any set dressing at all.
No, that's right. It's all sorted. May 19th to May 21st, Frail Realities by the company Frail Realities. Another steampunk one, very, very popular, it would seem. That's in Kirkby Mallory. I think I said that right. May 19th to May 21st again, Forsaken 3. Let's get the right fingers up. Broken Dreams, Modern Coventry. I don't know.
There's a modern Coventry?
I had no idea.
Post-apocalyptic
Coventry.
Well, obviously, if you've got post-apocalyptic, there's got to be a modern Coventry.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
It's Coventry after all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's that one.
Coventry is not the greatest reputation in the UK.
No. So May 20th to the 21st. So just an overnight event, by the looks of it. Four Rivers by Impossible Gears. Out of Character. No idea what that means. Maybe it's just a meetup. Newcastle, Tyne and Wear. Pardon me. May 26th to the 28th is Dangermarket 1. Watch those melons. The How Many Spies affair. Okay, that sounds interesting. It's by a company called Etherfield. It's historical. Oh, okay. And that's in Buxton in Derbyshire. 26th to the 29th is, there's no way I'm going to say that right, Namahage. That's by the Ascendancy people. It's high fantasy, and it's in Cheadle in Staffordshire. 26th to 29th, Forest Argent, The Convergence. That sounds like a movie title. That's by Wyvern's Tales. It's again high fantasy, and that's only not too far from us actually here in South Wales. It's in Bridgend.
And I'm actually crewing that one.
Oh, and there you go. And Rob's actually crewing that one. So there we go.
Have you told them yet, Rob?
Have you told them? Yeah.
Yeah, they know.
They know.
We're just working on a set of directions for me.
All right. Well, it's Bridgend. May, if you get stuck, you can always go and visit my in-laws. May 27th to the 28th, Revenant Evil, The Aftermath 2. I do love it that they've got them on there. That's by Darkstar, and that's an LRP post-apocalyptic. And that's in, I think that's Sheffield, but it comes out of Shedfield. Unless there is a Shedfield, and I do apologise. I do apologise for anybody if there is a Shedfield. I've never heard it in my life. It might be a...
There is a Shedfield.
There is a Shedfield. Okay, so Shedfield in Hampshire. So there's that one. You can actually find all of the information for this and what have you over at larpevents.co.uk. And you can actually search for lots of different LARPs. It's predominantly UK based at the moment, but we're actually hoping to help them out with that to get more international LARPs on there as well. I have been in contact with them, and we'll keep you posted. So I think that is probably it for the show. It's been a nice long one. It's almost a 2-hour show, folks.
Well,
And Luke's still here.
Oh, they've got to have, bang for their buck, don't they?
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, Tom hasn't been on for a while, so it's nice to see you on, Tom. And
it's nice to be able to talk at the end of the show as well. Really, I'm just glad to be here. I'm here for the ride.
You're just glad to be
down for 2 hours.
But I tell
Kevin, have you pre-recorded this event because you're still here?
Yeah.
That's so harsh. Haven't you gone yet?
don't tell him don't tell him that we preloaded, Martin and what have you with questions to ask at particular times in the video. I mean, don't tell him that. But
this has been done over 4 weeks because I'm only able to actually stay online for 15 minutes.
Yeah. But I
cut it together.
I thought, right, as basically a fun thing to end the show, right, we would do a quiz. Yeah, because everyone loves a quiz, right? It's all about LARP. So, PC, NPC, and boffers, are you a LARP expert, right?
What?
So,
Okay.
I think what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to go Tom, Luke, Rob, Dennis. Yeah. Tom, Luke, Rob, Dennis. Okay with that? Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
fine.
Okay,
Right. So Tom. Here's the starter for 10 then. What does LARP stand for? Is it Land and Agrarian Roleplay? Is it Live Action Roleplay? Or is it Long Range Roleplay?
It's live action roleplay.
Let's see if you are actually correct.
Always ask someone you love.
No, that's the wrong
before you
that's the
put
wrong
anything in
button.
your mouth.
Let's see if you are right. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Okay, let's go on to the next question. What game? What?
What?
Okay. What game is this similar to? That makes no sense. But we'll pick one. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, or Walrus.
What the hell is
It's
Walrus?
right. It's got a picture with a lot of people battling with swords.
Okay. Is this for me or is this who's?
No, next one's Luke.
Luke.
You've
I
answered,
can't even
Tom.
see what I'm looking at. So
Well-
what are the choices?
Okay, so Dungeons and
Pick
right,
one.
it's a bit like a gathering scene, right? So is it Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, or Walrus? Pick one. Come on. You can't phone a friend. You can't phone a friend. We're all here.
Damn. I got no idea. I'm going to have to go for, I'm going to guess now. Magic the Gathering?
You go for Magic the Gathering. Let's see whether or not you are correct. Oh no, I'm afraid it's actually more like Dungeons and Dragons. So do apologize. Yeah, completely wrong there.
Well, it's
Okay
strange, I
then.
couldn't see the picture.
Here we go then, Rob. This one's for you. All LARPs are based in what kind of setting? Fantasy, horror, Western, romance. Any setting will do.
How does he get that question?
All of them.
Well, all of them. Let's see if you are absolutely correct. Yes, you're correct there, Sonny.
This is a fix. This is a bloody fix.
Okay,
I
right.
for a picture I can't even bloody see, and he gets, what's your name?
Right then, Dennis, next one's for you. What are LARP players known as? Is it LARPers, members, or actors?
Let me see about that.
Who came up with this quiz?
I am seeing a flaw in this.
Treggies ain't the part of the question.
I'm afraid no. It's only LARPers, members, or actors.
Then they gotta be labbers.
Got to be LARPers. Let's see if you are in fact correct. Yes, you are. You are correct. It's only Luke that's got one wrong at the moment. So back to you then, Tom. LARPers create in-game personas known as what? Are they performers, personas, or player characters?
Player characters, I believe.
Player characters. Let's check. Yeah, absolutely. You got that completely correct. There we go.
Luke, you went to the gathering. Name all of them.
Name every person that went.
Here we go then. What is considered the first LARP, Luke? Is it Antia? Is it Antia, Dagger Here, or The Gathering?
The first ever LARP.
What is considered the first LARP? By the way, this is just
Rob's question.
I'm afraid I can't go back. No, it's not letting me.
Well, no, it probably wasn't The Gathering. So I'll go for one of the other two.
Okay, so it's Antia or Dagger Here.
Antia.
Antia. Let's see whether or not you were correct. Oh no! I'm afraid right. It was in fact Dagger Here. Sorry about that, Luke.
Letting the team down, Luke.
Right, so question 7 then.
Luke, you are failed.
He gets a simple question, Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, why is a sword?
This is right. I don't think Rob's going to get this one. Who did? Because nobody know who did the local radio station. Who did the local radio station promotional ad invite to Dagger Here? Was it anyone who wanted to fight in Hobbit wars with padded weapons? Was it anyone who wanted to hit other people with foam swords? Or was it anyone who wanted to spar with padded swords?
Yeah, Rob.
It's got to be the Hobbit one. I mean, that's the only one that
Don't
doesn't make
help
sense.
him.
I'm going for the Hobbit one.
The Hobbit one?
Just 'cause.
Let's see if you're correct. Yep, you're absolutely correct.
Well done, Tom.
Okay, then for Dennis then. What does it mean to fight sword and board? Is it fighting with a one-handed weapon and a shield, fighting aggro style, or fighting until the death?
All of the above.
Actually, I have never heard that expression before. So
You never heard of sword and board?
Nope. So sword and shield would be my guess, yes, but I'm pretty sure it's wrong.
Okay, let's see whether or not you are correct. Yep, absolutely correct. It is sword and shield. I think we'll leave that there with basically Luke being the loser.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You have not stayed online for this?
Knowing Luke's luck,
You stayed
the
online
next
for
question
2
would be-
hours with this.
Here's
Lord of the Rings, namely
here's the
first
comedy.
name, second passage, third word.
Here is the comedy though, Luke. Here's the comedy. They were genuinely in that order. I have not set this up in any way. So we'll give one just for you. Just for you, right? The next question. All right. What is a boffer? Is it a contact or melee foam weapon, a realistic looking latex weapon, or flourishes affixed to a foam weapon? What is a boffer?
Is it flourishes fixed to a foam weapon?
That's what you go for?
No, not anymore. Can I go for the first one?
Which was, right, so you've got a contact or melee foam weapon, a realistic looking latex weapon, or flourishes affixed to a foam weapon.
I'm going to go for the first one.
The first one, a contact or melee foam weapon. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yay!
We win.
Although I should have taken your first answer, that would have been even more comedy. Right.
I've been here for 2 hours now. This is what I'll get.
Right, so I think it's about this point of the show then, right? That we'll basically end it knowing that Luke doesn't know about LARP. Just making a note of that. And what have you. So a big thank you, right, to all of our lovely patrons who make it a bit easier to keep this show going. Yeah, if you've gotten any comedy or any information, have you, from tonight's show, then pop across to patreon.com/LARPBook and just help us out. Even that $1 a month, helps us out a great deal just to keep this all this thing going and keep the comedy flowing, because that's what we're here for. So Dennis, again, thank you very much for coming along. It's been an absolute delight.
Really, thank you for having me.
You know,
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Dennis. And again, thank you for bringing the Nuclear Breaker Hammer out, because that's one of my introductions to Larpforge, and it's still a favourite.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is quite unique.
Yes, it is. And a big thank you to Tom, Luke, and Rob for being here as well. It's been an absolutely fantastic show. And thank you to everybody that's been watching the live stream, sending in questions or what have you. But should you want a little bit more information, or you have something for us, then email the show at larpbookshow@gmail.com. Right, that's larpbookshow@gmail.com. And we'll do our best to answer your questions, get a post up on the website, whatever it is. You know, we're always here to help. That sort of thing.
Yeah. And one last thing from the chat room, Klaus says, "You cracking me up, Luke. You have a fan."
There we go.
Thanks, man.
There you go. One fan. That's it, though.
One fan, just the one. That's all I need. Thanks.
So like I said, if you'd like to get in contact with the show, just email larpbookshow@gmail.com. Is there a topic you would like us to discuss, or something cool you saw, or fancy writing an article for the website, then email the show, larpbookshow@gmail.com. So music was provided by Ben Sound at bensound.com. Again, patreon.com/larpbook. That really helps us out an awful lot. We do have a shop over on Redbubble, but we might be getting a new shop soon, so stay tuned for that. You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Twitch, Podbean. Just search for LARPBook, whatever you use to get your podcasts, we'll be there. If you pop across to the website, larpbook.com, there's news, reviews, lots of wonderful stuff happening over there. You can, of course, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, just search for LARPBook. And don't forget, give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever you use. 5 stars, baby. You know, and that really helps us to get up in the rankings of that particular system. So I've been Stuart Edwards, your host. That's been Dennis, Rob, Luke, Tom. That's it from us. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.